Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, the next 2 weeks, Love and Verses, we decided that we're going to give you some throwbacks. So my team and I have sat down and we've looked at some things from last year that are absolutely amazing. And some of the material is in the book, Love and Verses. And so we thought you would have a chance to visit with us in one of our worship services where I taught and shared some things on relationships. And so last year was so phenomenal, 2019's relationship series. So we thought we would just roll it back on this Throwback Thursday. So tune in and sit back. I think you're going to enjoy some of what we shared.
You've got to learn how to speak the language of your lover. There's a book I want to recommend by Gary Chapman called The 5 Love Languages. In that book, he talks about how all of us, based upon our households, our families, and our context, have experienced love in different ways. That's what shaped us and molded us. So when two people come together, they're coming from 2 different backgrounds and contexts, and they speak 2 different love languages, and it is a responsibility of both of them to learn the language of their lover. If you are going to learn how to love the person that is in your life, if you're married now, if you're engaged, if you need to take notes for one day you will be married, if you're on the rebound and looking for that special someone to love, there's 3 things you need to know in order to teach them how to love you and you to learn how to love them. Number 1, there's got to be some time. Let the church say time. In order for you to learn and understand a person, you've got to spend time with them. You are not going to understand who a person is, how they operate, if you don't take the time to get to know them. One of the things I desire is to speak Spanish. But because I'm so busy right now, pastoring, community work, I'm still in school right now, in graduate school. I've got children to raise, and I'm in a marriage. I don't have the time to learn Spanish. So when I'm speaking to people who speak Spanish, I'm confused as to what they're saying. They're confused sometimes as to what I'm saying. So there's confusion, and there's a need for there to be a translator to decipher what each of us is saying. Many times, the reason that relationships run into a roadblock is because neither one of the persons in the relationship have taken the time to learn the language of the other person. So now you need a translator to come in and counsel you and help you understand what she needs and what he needs, what she's saying, what he's saying. And all of us need to learn the language of our lover. It's got to be some time. That time has to be sacrifice. You've got to be intentional to sacrifice and say, I am going to make sure that I take the time to get to know you so we can build a relationship together. Because if you are going to build a solid, a sound, a stable relationship, you have got to have time as the foundation of what you build, so what you build will last. Anytime constructors are building a building, the first thing they do is they give attention to the foundation. In fact, the higher the structure is going to be, the deeper they dig the foundation and the more time they spend on making sure the foundation is right. If you are going to build a sound, solid, stable relationship, you first got to take the time to build that relationship on Christ. You got to take the time to pray together. You've got to take the time to speak the word back to each other. You got to take the time to come to church and say on the weekend, we're going to learn from church how we ought to live, how we ought to love, how we ought to operate, so that we can speak the word back to each other. Because a family that spends time praying together is a family that will stay together. So we're going to build this thing on the foundation of the rock of Jesus, so that when winds blow and pressure comes against us, we are solid as a rock. There's got to be some time, and it involves sacrifice. I was talking to the manager at my salon, and when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, he said, Pastor Sullivan, I'm going on a cruise. I said, wow, man, enjoy yourself. He said, no, I don't like cruises. He said, I don't like cruises, but my wife does. And so we're on this cruise for 7 days. He said, I need you to pray for me because I don't like cruises and I don't like her family. He said, so I need you to pray. He said, but I'm going on this cruise, even though I don't like it, because I'm sacrificing, because that's what my wife wants to do. So I'm going to take the time to sacrifice and spend time with my wife so that we can get closer together and I can show her that I value her enough to do some stuff I don't want to do. Men, we have got to learn how to sacrifice and do some stuff we don't want to do. I don't like romantic comedies, but my wife does. And since I love her, I sit down and tolerate a movie for 2 hours I don't necessarily like. I don't necessarily like some of the food that she likes, but I go to certain restaurants and try some stuff I never would try. It's a sacrifice because I'm trying to show her, baby, you are worth it, and so I'm taking out the time to spend it with you. It not only involves sacrifice, get this, it involves being scheduled. You got to schedule time. My wife and I are very busy people. In fact, my friends tell me I'm the most regimented brother they know. Because I know what I'm going to do on Monday. Everything is blocked out, is timed out. I got everything already laid out for the entire week, for the entire month. I got my preaching calendar scheduled for 3 quarters for the entire year. I am regimented because I don't like surprises and stuff may come at me, so I have to be prepared. But I have to take time out for my wife and my marriage. So every year we schedule vacations, not with the kids, but without the kids. We schedule time together that we go out of town, turn off our phones, look at some scenery, try some new locations, and we start courting each other all over again. We get to know each other because I'm a different man at 41 than I was at 21. So I need you to flow with me in this season. You're a different woman at 40 than you were at 20. So I need to know what are some of your fears? What are your concerns? What is it you're going after in this season? So we got to take time. But watch this, Lawrence. Here's what we got to understand. When my wife and I spend time off together, after about 7 days, we're a little tired of each other because that's too much time for any 2 people. Hello, somebody. And I love the fact that she is not a clingy, needy person who will smother a brother. I thank God that she's secure enough to sometime give me my space, and I'm secure enough to give her her space, because I didn't come to her for her to complete me. I came to her for her to compliment me. If you're waiting on somebody to complete you, you're a half of a person. But if you know who you are before you get them, you won't commit suicide if you lose them. If you know who you are when you get them, you won't trip if you ever lose them. I wish I had a witness. I'm going to stay there for a while. The Louis Vuitton bag don't complete me. It compliments me. The car don't complete me. It compliments me. I'm somebody on 38th Street with a bus pass in my hand, and I'm somebody in a Rolls Royce. Is there a witness in this house? Don't smother your lover. Give them some space. You got to schedule that time off so you can get to know each other all over again. It involves time, and you have to have balance with it. And I think that the reason some people fall apart and break up is because they don't spend the time to build with each other. At different seasons, they have different needs. Menopause is different. Being an empty nester is a different season. When he can't do what he used to do because his body's changed in terms of lifting heavy stuff and moving, you're going to have to be able to be wise, woman, to still know how to comfort him, assure him, and encourage him. And I think that the reason some people grow apart because they don't spend the time to grow together. And you have to be intentional about scheduling your dates, scheduling time together, and making memories. Can I give this to y'all? Memories and moments are more important than money and material. Memories and moments will stay with you. Money and material fades. This is why we can't be shallow people. We got to learn how to understand the value of the time we spend with our spouse. Not only time, catch this, there's got to be some talk. Let the church say talk. In order to get to know a person, you got to talk to them. And I know this is strange in this culture because we're in an age of texting, emojis, Come on, LOL when you really ain't LOLing. We in an age of sending smiley faces because that's what you're supposed to do. We're in an age of not communicating to people clearly. Some people cannot talk and communicate and even conduct an interview because we're in an age where people stop talking as much. You've got to learn how to talk. You got to learn to engage the person you are with in order to understand them. Now I want to help y'all. I grew up in an era where you had to have game. Y'all missed that. I grew up in an era where you had to have some rap, some conversation, some chitter chatter, the gift to gab. You had to work on your line. Come on, even the music back then. I remember when Jodeci, come and talk to me. I really want to meet you, girl. I really want to know your name. Holler back at me up in here. I grew up in the era of Tevin Campbell. Last night I saw you standing. I started pretending I knew you, and you knew me too. And just like a Ronnie, you were too shy. But you weren't the only one, so was I. And I dreamed of you ever since. Now I built up my confidence. The next time you come my way, I know just what I'll say. Can we talk? Have I got a witness up in this house to know your name? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. It wasn't just R&B. It was also rap. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl who's as sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I see I need love. There I was, giggling about the games, because I done played with many hearts, but I ain't saying no names. Then the thought occurred, teardrops made my eye blurred, thinking to myself, look what you've done to her. I can feel it inside, I can't explain how I feel. All I know is that I'll never dish another raw deal, playing make-believe, pretending my love's true. I know one thing, girl, I love you. Come on, give God some glory up. Touch somebody and tell them you had to talk. You had to have some rap and some game and some conversation to catch them. Do y'all hear me? The problem nowadays is people don't talk. You didn't just have to talk. Catch this. You don't just talk to catch them. You talk to keep them. You got to keep on talking. You got to keep on doing what you did to catch them. You got to keep them surprised. You got to keep them interested. You got to keep their attention when they ain't looking nowhere else. I wish I had a witness up in this house. Touch somebody, tell them, keep talking, keep talking. Yeah, you've got to talk if a relationship is going to be rich. I want you to understand, if your lover is going to understand how to love you, they're only going to learn your heart if they hear you, and you have to talk in order for them to hear you, and you have to listen in order to learn them. Now, ladies, I want you to catch this. Women talk 3 to 4 times more than men. Okay? In fact, women talk so much, sometimes men, we tune them out. You didn't even hear what I was saying, did you? I really didn't. Yeah, I found, yeah. Men, we have to take the time to turn everything off and talk. First Peter says this, dwell with your wives with understanding. Get to know them, understand their fears, their concerns, what it is they're looking for. Sometimes, men, we listen to fix a problem. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Let me tell you how men and women operate. Men, we're fixers. So if you say something to me in a conversation, you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to fix it and solve this conversation so we don't have to revisit it again. So I'm coming in with my toolbox. You know, I had a rough day at work. What was the problem at work? Well, Johnny's still getting on my nerves, and he wants me to do this. And you're like, okay, how can we fix that? Can you find another place? I don't want you to fix it. I just want to talk to you about it. Let me get this straight. You just want to talk to be heard. You just want to talk to be talking. Men, understand sometimes she ain't looking for you to fix it. She's already made her decision. She just wants you to listen and hear her and see what she's saying. So we got to learn, men, listen to this, to have our hearts open and our ears attentive to them when they are talking, just to hear what their concerns are, not always looking to fix a problem or solve something. I want y'all to write this down. God created women to operate off a AAA battery. It's going to make sense. God created women to operate off a AAA battery. I know I can say this at 11:30 and not get in trouble. See, you trying to get her to operate off a D battery. I ain't say it strong enough. She ain't gonna operate off the D battery.